and he flies in by the seat of his pants. There we go. Woof.
Oh, I haven't got my mic on.
You haven't got your what is happening, Louise? What is happening around here? Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good. Just Louise noticed that her camera was slightly out, so there's Louise now. Is she, she's still got.
I'm still a bit out.
Are you?
A little bit. I could do with going up a bit.
How about if I do this?
Yeah, maybe a bit smaller.
Bit better?
Yeah, thank you.
Make it a bit
Good.
smaller.
Maybe smaller.
Good. Everyone all right? Hope you all can hear us. Can you hear us? Just wondering, give us all a thumbs up if you can. I think that light's a bit bright above my head. It's giving me a bit of a shiny forehead. Good. Everyone okay? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Excellent. That light is a bit bright, isn't it? I've moved that light to point more at my face. Now it's giving me a bit of a nasty shadow under here now. You can see. Can you see? Look at me, it's my head.
Don't worry about
Maybe
it.
I need some makeup.
You look fine.
Needs me. So what's it called up on here now? Some foundation just to stop the
A little
shine.
bit of powder, is it?
Yeah, that's what I need. So yes, Louise is cold. It is freezing. You're a bit wonky as well there, Louise, aren't you? I think you're a bit wonky.
I'm always a bit wonky.
Let's see if any better? There you go. You're on top of
Am I the right way up now?
You were on a bit of Durston, you were then. There we go.
Never hurt anybody, did it?
How's that? You can see a bit of my computer as well. Good. How's everyone doing today? I don't know what to say, actually. We haven't stopped all day. I've been filming all day. You've been playing. Who have you been playing with, Louise?
You make it sound like I've been not doing anything.
No, obviously, it's fun, isn't it? It was fun. It was fun.
I've had fun. I feel a bit guilty because I've had so much fun.
So what you're doing is Louise's face is nice and orange because we've got a little heater by the side of us.
Oh, that's that's nice. Yes, I've been trying out the new dual tool stone saw.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, I should have brought what I did, but it's only out there.
Okay. Perhaps you can get it when I'm answering the questions, perhaps.
It's not that interesting, is it? Well, it
is interesting.
It's just, I think the one is on my desk, the one's in the gem light box. So yeah, when did I have it? Last month, and I've literally only now today had a chance to start playing with it. So it basically, it slabs, doesn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, go to dualtool.com, I guess. And on YouTube as well, Annie's got loads and loads of videos. She does loads of lives, and the dual tool does everything: polishing now, cutting now, everything.
Stone cutting, slabbing machine. Yes.
Yeah, it really is incredible what it can do. I've been polishing watch glass.
Yes.
I've been cutting stones. I've been polishing stones. I've been repolishing scratch stones. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? So do check it out and have a look what it can do. But I've gone from this, not this one actually, because this one's not been cut, but it was very similar to this.
I'll have it over
if
here.
you have it over there,
yes.
It's not. This isn't finished. I will add. It's just been roughly cut out. So I've got a bit more work to do on it.
This is what Louise had. This was her little bit of rough that she had, and then from this you cut a slab.
Yep.
And then from that slab, then you polished. That's what it looks like, sort of unpolished.
It's not finished.
Not finished,
it's
but
very rough, so it needs to be.
Just had a go, but
I've literally just.
That's a real nice colour, isn't it? It's a gorgeous, gorgeous colour.
I love lapis.
Considering it comes from this, and that does look really, really good.
I think I should have gone the other way because there's a nice little scattering of pyrite, but it's through the side now. Or perhaps yeah. And there's this, which looks it looks less like a piece of ham. Now it's polished a little bit, but it did look like a piece of ham earlier on. Again, it's not finished. It was just very, very quick just to have a play with it. So I slabbed it and then I ground it and then did a little bit of polishing, neat reshaping, very rough.
That's good.
But yeah, I was just excited to do something to show you, really.
We literally had 5 minutes. No. 10 minutes, didn't we, really, today?
Yeah.
Just to get that little bit of...
Lot more, yeah, there's a bit more work to do on both of them. But yeah, it was just to show you, it's a bit of a deep cab, that one, isn't it? But yeah, if you take your time, obviously you're going to create something a lot better than that. But yeah, it's really cool.
And
Thanks, Jill.
And it's just all about, I can't get this camera right. It's just all about playing, isn't it? Not playing, just practicing.
Well, yeah, have fun.
Yes, there we go. That's better.
Because, you know, if you're pressuring yourself to kind of like do it perfect all the time, you really, you know, you learn more, don't you? Sometimes just having a little go.
Yeah, so it's all about having a go. It's all about using the tools that you've got, experimenting with things, and from there then you become a lot more creative and be able to produce some amazing things. And nice, being able to cut the cabs in whatever shape you want and then round it off and polish it. It's brilliant.
I got that big bit of ruby which I was going to have a go at recut. Do you remember? And you dropped it.
I dropped it. Yes.
And the top fractured off. So now I'm thinking I might try and cut it in half. It's like it's about this big, isn't it? What is it? Probably about 3 inches by 2.5.
It's a big whopper.
It's a big old cab. Yeah, it's obviously opaque, but yeah, it's quite nice.
Perhaps get a stencil and perhaps mark an oval on it, and then cut around the oval and shape it into the oval shape, and sort of do a nice oval cab from it.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want with it. I'm not telling you what to do with it. You do whatever you want.
That's good too.
Good. So we've been having a go play. As I say, I've been filming all day today.
And I've just been playing with the dual tool.
been playing, which is fine, which is no worries at all. So, anything else we've got to tell you about? We did a little bit. Were you
going to say what we signed up for this morning?
Oh, yes. Yes. So, very, very quickly, Louise and I were going to do this last year, but we didn't, so we didn't going to do it this year. And this is what we're doing. We are doing the... Okay, it's gone that way instead. It's the Principality Cardiff Half Marathon. It is next year. Okay, congratulations, you're all set. I don't think Louise is thinking it's congratulations, but we are going to be running the Cardiff Half Marathon next year. We've got 51 weeks to go to train for it. I'm not even going to think about it for a few months, to be honest. And yes, we're going to be running the Cardiff Half Marathon. We're going to we're going to run for charity, aren't we? Are we going to run for charity? That's the
only way I'm going to get motivated to do it, I think. It's not that I don't want to do it. I said I'd do it, and you didn't check, and you went ahead and booked it, and I've kind of like, in my mind, thought, perhaps I won't do it, and I'll have to do it.
You have to do it, to be paid for it, but we're going to be running for
let me just make sure I get it right. The Silversmiths and Jewellers Charity.
The Silversmiths and Jewellers Charity.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the idea.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be doing anything just yet, training-wise, are we? Even though
I do a little bit, don't I?
And we went for a run on the weekend, but we're going to be doing some training from about, I don't know, April, May time. It's October. We're going to get our t-shirts done with At The Bench on it. We're going to be running the Cardiff Half Marathon for the Silversmiths and Jewellers. What was it called?
Silversmiths and Jewellers Charity.
Jewellers Charity, yes. We're going to be announcing a few little fun things that you can take part in to help raise money for the Silversmiths and Jewellers Charity as well over the next few months.
If anybody wants to come to Cardiff to join us, that would be even better. Yes. We could have a little At The Bench team, couldn't we?
Yes, and if you're local, we're not running fast. We're going to be doing it in about 3 hours, which is very, very slow jogging pace.
3 hours?
3 hours to do a half marathon, which I think is quite achievable.
For me now.
For you.
Let's be realistic.
And if anybody wants to take part in this and join us on the day, you are more than welcome, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, more about that nearer the time. Anything else we need to say, Louise?
I was just going to say the work of the charity is nationwide. Its role is unique in embracing every sector of the trade, manufacturers, wholesalers and retailers. By means of regular financial support or one-off grants, it assists both current and retired trade employees or their spouses who live anywhere in the UK and who find themselves in need because of poverty or sickness. So that is a little bit of the background of the charity that we're doing the half marathon for.
Good.
Yeah.
I hope we will raise a bit of money.
So yeah, because I probably won't bother doing it otherwise.
Well,
in all honesty,
it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, isn't it? And it's going to be something that we're going to raise a bit of money for charity as well, which is what it's all about. So yes, so we are all set to run that. I think there was thousands and thousands and thousands. When I was 18, I ran the full marathon. That was the last time Cardiff, and I ran that. But I was 18 years old. I'm like 3 times that age now.
Well, I've done a 10k, and that was a good few years ago now, and that's half the distance, isn't it?
Yes.
But we've got a year,
We have.
and I think it's achievable. Even if I limp over the finish line, I'm going to do it.
All for charity.
Yeah.
But more things will be announced over the coming months. So, should we start?
Do get in touch if you fancy coming to Cardiff and joining us.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
But yeah, you haven't got to limp around with me. You can go off at a good speed if you want. And neither of you can...
No, I'm going to stay with you because it's great that we can do it together and we can encourage you.
Well, it's not for me. I just want to get round. It's, you know, I know people are like, oh, PB, and but those days are gone for me. I used to always want to beat, but now I, like I say, just want to get round. I just want to raise some money, and and that's what it's for me.
So yes, more on that as the months progress.
Yeah, so it's a long way off yet.
We'll let you know how training's going. We're going to get our little tops done and things like that. Bit of advertising at the bench as well.
Or if you're in the US, you can still run the same distance maybe as part of the... Perhaps we could do something,
worldwide.
I don't know, like a virtual...
On a treadmills.
Yeah, or yeah. Yeah.
And do, not to say all
so if you're into running, perhaps you could... Perhaps we could have... No, I was going to say perhaps have a competition. It's taking it a bit too far, isn't it?
One minute you're saying, I'm not out to do any competition.
No, and I'm not going to participate in the competition. Obviously, I'm really slow. I'm not going to win any awards or PBs, am I?
Anyway,
perhaps we can do something anyway.
We'll think about it.
It'll be fun.
Good. All right, let's start. Shall we look?
Yes.
It's Monday, what is it?
It's the
16th
of
October. It's a chilly, chilly day. That's why we got the heater on by the side of us. And we're going to have our first question then, please, Louise.
Oh, I wasn't ready. Right, for Tema. Hello, I'm a beginner silversmith and I don't have all the supplies where I come from. How can I make hard solder?
Okay, so to make hard solder, you are going to need fine silver, pure silver, and you're going to need to alloy it usually with copper. I don't know what the proportions of fine silver to copper are. You'd be better off just checking out some Google and ask what proportions of alloys go into making hard solder. Personally, myself, it's easier for me just to ring up and get the solder delivered than it is to try and make it. So that's what we always do here, although there are people out there that do make their own solder because they just feel like to have the whole thing handmade. So I'm afraid I don't know the exact answer, but you should be able to do it, providing you can get your hands on fine silver and copper. If you can, you might as well just try and buy the soldering if you ask me, but I'm sorry, yes. Okay, yes, Louise.
Okay,
not a good answer, but it's the only one that I can offer, I'm afraid.
Okay, yes, it is cold, isn't it? That's why my face is a bit orange because of the, the glow from the heater there, but I'm a bit sniffy. Sorry, it's just because it's cold in here. Louise is making slow gin. Oh, wow, cool.
Nice.
Have you disabled the ads? Yes, I have, Anthony, yeah. Good. Let's see. Yes, good. Why is this jumping around? Do you sell titanium tripods?
The tripods that you're talking about are these, most probably. No, I don't. But you don't necessarily need them because all you need are some titanium strips and you can bend them into a tripod shape, or you can use your titanium clips to put things on, and then you can put your bit of silver. I haven't got a bit of silver, but I'm just going to use that at the moment. And you can put that, and then you can still get to underneath the pieces. So personally, you can buy our titanium strips, okay, if you want to. And if you want to raise that up, you can always make a little cut here, cut that one, and put them together so they overlap, and make a little trivet that way if you wanted to. But personally, I use my clamps, the clamps that we use to hold things together with the titaniums. You can put them on either side like that, and you can get underneath. So yes, that is what I do. You okay there?
Yeah.
Good.
Blow my nose.
Excellent, good.
I have been hunting for sea glass after the stormy weather we had in Brighton. No glass, but plenty of lovely shells. How nice. Any tips on finding sea glass?
Ooh.
I would say when the tide is going out. I don't know, sometimes you just get lucky, don't you?
Yeah.
Because I remember one time on Barry Beach, which isn't even really a beach, is it?
No.
Barry Island, I just found the mother hole. But other times we've gone there and there's been absolutely nothing. Do you normally find sea glass on that beach, Anthony, or is it?
I think usually, providing when you've had a big storm, it really does whip up, I suppose, the bottom, doesn't it? And then it deposits it on the beach. That's why, and sometimes at high tide, you have all those, driftwood and seaweed at the highest point. So I think perhaps after a storm, to go down there and have a look. But there's no sort of sea glass detector or anything like that you can really use. It's just luck, I think it is.
Where were we? Where did we go? I think we were in Falmouth and we went to that beach. No, it wasn't Falmouth. Yeah, it was Falmouth.
It was Falmouth, and we went north a bit on one of the beaches. I cannot remember what that was called.
And it was everywhere you put your eyes, wasn't it?
Everywhere.
We've got absolutely...
Loads.
Yeah, if anybody wants sea glass.
Yeah. In fact, look on... I think we just...
Got polish on your face.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think we just Googled best beaches to find sea glass in Cornwall.
Yeah, and it came up, didn't it?
It came up with like 3 or 4 beaches, and one was quite close to us, and we just went down there, and literally we had a big bag full, and everywhere you went, there's one everywhere. So yeah, I think it's just luck of the draw.
But definitely when the tide's going out, because obviously if the tide's coming in,
yes,
people have already been and gone and had it, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll ask my daughter, because she's quite an experienced sea glass collector, isn't she? She was. She doesn't do it so much anymore.
So when it went up to see him, when we were at the trade show, one of the ladies came up to see us, and she went to see him. Hardly anything there now.
Really? Is that just because it's been popular as
taken,
Yeah, we'll have to have a trip, won't we? Because my daughter's partner is from Romania.
Yes.
And he'd never been to the seaside, did he?
No.
Because there's no coast where he is from for miles, for hundreds of miles.
Yes.
So yeah, it was lovely because she took him to the beach and did all the things that we used to do when we went to the beach, and it was really cute. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Ruby eats up sores and diamond polish. Oh, perhaps I won't do that one. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's Mo's 9, Mo's 8, 9. Need to find some good rock hounding places in the UK. Funnily enough, where was the one? It was somewhere in Cornwall. But wasn't it an old arsenic factory?
It was an arsenic. It was a mine. Was it a copper mine?
Yeah, that was it. A copper and arsenic mine. So that put me off a little bit. It was somewhere
Enter at your own risk.
Was it Tavistock? Yeah. So it was a little bit.
Because there's loads of copper mines.
People are finding. Yeah, and I would. That sounded really dangerous to me.
With copper comes arsenic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they found. Was it feldspar?
They found fluorite. Yeah, chalcedony, botryoidal chalcedony. There was pyrite and fluorite, I think, as well. There was just, but personally,
I'd steer clear of anything with arsenic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I don't think I'd.
No, I wouldn't want to risk it.
It's not worth it, no.
No, not at all.
But I found some lovely quartzes on the beach, haven't I? In Penarth.
Yep.
I found one, and I think we talked about it before the eye, didn't we?
Yes, I found some pictures on my phone just the other day, actually.
Yeah, they looked like, it was exactly like, you put it up to your face, and it was exactly the same shape and size as your eye, and it was full of quartz. Yeah. It was just the great. I should have, you're not supposed to take
things off the beach like that.
Yeah, I wish I had, though. Right, could you show how to burr out a seat in the under gallery for a radiant cut diamond in 4 prongs? I have trouble burring the correct angle to fit the contour of the stone and the stone rocks.
So, a lot of times you'll find, especially in micro pave. Oh, there's Sibjo still on the board. Now, a lot of people will use a ball burr because a ball burr is round. Yeah. And when it cuts a seat that is like that. I've pre-drilled it, so I've got a hole down here. Okay, so that's my profile of the hole that my ball burr. Okay, so here's the rest of the metal over here, like this. Okay, and this is the profile of the seat. The advantage of using a ball burr is because the sides taper in like this. So if you had a stone, a gemstone, diamond for instance, and the stone just sits in here, okay, the stone would fit in nice. And because this girdle is the only point of contact in that, it's going to fit in, okay? And say your stone was a fraction smaller, the stone would still sit in because the walls are sort of tapered. So you can fit in, perhaps for argument's sake, say a 2.4 millimeter stone. You may be able to fit a 2.3 millimeter stone and the stone would sit a little bit deeper, or you don't put the ball burr as far down into the hole. And because the sides are tapered like that, you can put whatever size stone you want in there. You can even come down right down here and have a stone right down here because the walls are tapered. So that's the advantage of using a ball burr. Now, if you use a straight-sided setting burr that is that shape, okay, and you use that to put a hole into a piece of metal to flush set, you are limited to the width here. So now you cannot put anything really smaller in there without the stone resting on the bottom here.
The pavilion area in the under gallery of a radiant cut.
Down here, the hole down there, is that what we're on about?
The pavilion area in the under gallery of a radiant cut. No, the area I'm talking about is for the pavilion. The pavilion area in the under gallery of a radiant cut.
Okay, so
Sorry.
When you set a stone, the stone does not sit on the metal. So the stone does not sit here. Okay, the stone should not sit there. The stone should always sit, and the stone does not touch the bottom. What I'm trying to say. So that comes down. The stone sits by here. So the stone never touches the bottom. The stone will only touch at the girdle. So you have to make sure that when
in
you...
a 2-carat mounting.
Regardless of what size stone it is, the stone will only touch here and here. You don't have to have the stone touching the bottom. So this angle down here does not matter. It can be deeper, it can be like this right the way down here because the stone only touches there and there. It is dependent now upon you to get your burr, okay, completely straight and horizontal. Because if you do not put this straight and you have this at a funny angle this way, yeah, your hole is not going to be level. So your hole is only as good as the accuracy of that.
Check, even for a 2-carat mounting with an under gallery.
I don't understand.
This is, I'm just telling you
I know.
Yeah.
But the stone doesn't touch.
Even for a 2-carat mounting with an under gallery.
The stone does not touch. No. The stone does not touch the bottom of anything. There should always be a gap. I really don't understand your question in here. But if you're on about the stone rocks, is because where that stone is in contact with a prong.
Val says that's what happened to me using the pointy drill bit. It ended up a tiny bit too big.
So there's your where the stone is going to sit. The stone doesn't touch anywhere down here in claws. The stone only touches here. And the reason why your stone rocks is because your cutting out here of the claws is not level. If this is down here, the stone is going to sit not square. So the reason why your stone does rock is because you haven't got the seat that it's sitting on or the little grooves in the claws level, and they have to be level. They all have to be on the same plane. So there's a claw here with a little cutout, there's a claw here with a cutout, there's a claw behind. The little cutouts have to be in that same plane, otherwise the stone will rock or it's not going to fit properly. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Yes,
So
Louise.
hopefully that
So it's the seat that you are not cutting straight that is causing the stone to rock, because the stone should only be in contact with the metal on the girdle, and that is the only place that the stone should be in contact with. If I'm getting it wrong, I apologise. Send a picture to louise@andrewandlouise.co.uk and I will have a look. But if the stone rocks, it's because the seat that it is sitting on is not level. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, just drop me a line if that's as an answer to the question.
Yeah.
Dancers for the Art Box, what gauge is the titanium, please?
It's 1 mil thick.
Good.
I'll just double check.
Helena says, find an old bottle works and there will be sea glass nearby on a beach.
Yes.
Good advice.
It's, 1 millimetre, 1.1. I'm just using one of my gauges here. It's 1.1 or 1 millimetre thick is the copper. Yes, Leo.
I forgot your question, Leodin. I'm so sorry. What epoxy do you use to attach glass to brass and silver to brass? Wait. No, the epoxy is not for the inlay. I want to epoxy a disc of fine silver / enamel to a disc of glass, both flat. What to use?
We use an epoxy resin. We use a brand called Araldite. It's big over here in the UK. And it's a 2-part epoxy, obviously a hardener and a resin. And we use one that sets in around about 10 minutes, which works fine. The trick is you squeeze out a resin, you squeeze out a hardener. If you try and get small amounts, it's going to be very hard to get an equal amount of each. But if you squirt out, say, about ½ an inch of each, you can sort of judge equal amounts of that sort of length, that sort of size, and you have a lot better success. Because I always find it to be really mean. I always used to try and squeeze out the smallest amounts, but you have to get it exactly 50-50. And it's easier to gauge 50-50 on larger pieces than the tiny small pieces that you squeeze out. So that is what I would suggest. Araldite here in the UK, 2-part epoxy, 10 minutes setting. Yes, Lou.
Okay, going back to the question about the 2-carat stone, I thought from what I have seen, you want to set the stone as low as possible, touching the under gallery.
No, don't. No, the stone, if the stone touches anywhere apart from the girdle, it's going to trap dirt and you're going to have a hard job trying to clean the underside. And I know a well-cut diamond relies on light entering the top, bouncing inside, coming back out. But if any point is touching underneath and it's dirt and the stone is not well proportioned, you'll be able to see areas of dirt through the table where that stone is touching any part of the setting underneath. So no, there must always be a gap between the stone and the under gallery or the under bezel or the sheet itself, and it's only the girdle that the stone is actually sitting and resting on the metal.
Okay, what gauge were the titanium widgets? I think we answered that one, didn't we?
1 millimetre, 1.1 millimetre thick.
Okay, good. Tom is saying, need a bigger hole drill for a 2-carat.
Yeah, depends.
Yeah, you'd have to make the hole as for the size of the stone you've got, yeah. Okay. Susan's saying you can weigh it. I guess you mean the Araldite, the epoxy.
You can do, yeah.
Yeah, then you know you've got exactly the right amount.
If you have a scales that's going to be accurate enough, because we got scales that go down to the 100th of a gram, don't we?
Yeah.
So then, yes, you could measure it.
You don't want to get that on your scales, though, do you?
No, not at all. No. Yes, Lou.
It goes off quite quick, doesn't it?
10 minutes.
Okay. There we are. Anybody got a question then?
Good. I like it. So, yes, we've been playing around with the dual tool, haven't we, today?
Yes.
And which is good. It does sound very loud, doesn't it?
I love it.
You love it.
I do. I love it.
Because we've normally got the slabbing saws or the tile cutting saws. They're the same thing, but it's bigger, obviously, because there is one limitation on that dual tool saw, and that was the depth of cut.
Well, then you can always just do a switcheroo and come back the other way, wouldn't you?
I think the depth of cut was about 1 inch. The blade has to be a certain size. But
really speaking, I should have drawn a line, shouldn't I?
It's hard to do on a bit of rough, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you need a flat bottom, like that's flat, and you put that on there, and then you,
That is.
That was my first go.
Don't get me wrong. It's a brilliant tool, and it's a brilliant sort of adapter to put on the dual tool. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But you are limited to the size of the slab.
You are, but before I couldn't have.
No, you couldn't cut that at all.
I couldn't have done anything with this,
Yeah.
but now I can because I won't use that tile cutter. Sorry,
No.
darling. It's just not going to happen.
It's the same
I value
thing,
my
it's the
fingers
same
too
blade,
much.
just a bit bigger than the dual tool. But it is good. It does sound very menacing, and the water gets everywhere, doesn't it? Have you cleaned up in there?
That was probably me.
You haven't cleaned up, have you?
A little bit.
That isn't going to keep
You should have seen, have you seen my boots?
I'm sure they can see that. So have a look at that. Keep them there. They're absolutely stinking dirty, aren't they? Look at them. And that's all over the floor, all over the bench, everywhere.
I did clean up my top half, didn't I?
I think you put too much water in.
You live and learn, don't you? Right, let's have a question.
Go on, what's the question?
Scrap over engineering. I broke my glasses. Is there a way to solder titanium without a PUK or laser?
Not really, no. I broke my glasses too, and I got a bit of sellotape holding mine together. Look. Remember Jack Duckworth from Coronation Street? I love these. I've had these glasses for about 7 or 8 years. I absolutely love these glasses. When they broke the other day, and look, you can see they're absolutely a mess. And I use a bit of sellotape to hold them together. It's not the ideal solution, is it?
It's not.
But yeah, remember Jack Duckworth? Remember Jack Duckworth in Coronation Street? Those were the days when Coronation Street was good.
Good. Dancers without box. Epoxy won't be going off so quick now the cold weather has arrived. That's true.
No, keep it warm.
Okay, good. Thank you for your help, Andrew. Very welcome. Susan says tile saw is great for agate. Do you ever work with polymer clay?
Yes, I have worked with polymer clay. Yes, many years ago when I was in my uni room, I used to use polymer clay, and I made up like pigs' faces and things like that, and stuck them on brooch pins, and I sold them.
Photos?
And I sold them to make some money to supplement my. No, it wasn't it's my beer drinking. That's what it is. That's what it was there
piggy
for.
Brooches.
Yeah, piggy brooches to supplement the days and evenings down the pub.
When you want to be a pig in the pub.
Yeah, that has been 2 pints of Bass and I was legless. I was a lightweight then.
What, shandy?
No, Bass, as in not the shandy, not Bass shandy.
I don't know what Bass is. I know shandy Bass.
It's what shandy Bass is made from. It's Bass, yes.
Obviously,
But
I'm not a beer drinker.
It was strong. I think I had 2 pints and I had to be carried back up to the door.
Same as now then. Okay. David says, I have had araldite fail in shear stress. When the discs are vertical, the discs will slip.
Okay.
Okay.
Because, yes, you have to provide a key for the araldite to sort of attach onto. If you have shiny surfaces, it's smooth and it will shear off. But if you can get a little bit of a key, perhaps some emery paper or scratch the one to provide little crosshatch scratches and things like that, the araldite can grab hold of a lot better.
Good. Helena, do you have to buy a dual tool, then the rock cutter separately? Yeah, so it's an add-on. It's an add-on accessory. So you can imagine the dual tool sits. Well, I have got mine vertically, but you can polish with it horizontally, so it clips into its base either way. Yeah, so you use it horizontally with the stone saw, and it just clips in.
Clips in.
And back out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be doing some films.
Yes, yeah, we've had it a while now.
We've had it a while, and it's the first time we've actually had a chance, because we just haven't had a chance.
Yeah, it's just been a busy time.
It has.
Rebecca, hi Rebecca. For sand casting, do you allow additional material for the internal diameter of a ring? And if yes, how much?
Say that again?
For sand casting,
yeah.
Do you allow additional material for the internal diameter of a ring?
I'm not sure what that means, internal diameter. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. You will always add extra metal to the melt, because when it goes down the sprue and say it fills up the mould, you need a lot of silver on top of here to provide the weight for the metal to go in to fill the mould. But I don't know what you mean about the internal diameter of the ring? Let me know a bit more detail if you don't mind, and I certainly will answer that yes, because I love sand casting. Yes, do.
Dances is saying, put a plaster on your glasses for the full NHS glasses look.
Nice.
Jane says, I saw Andrew got a delivery of the Durston mini pickle pot.
Yeah.
On Instagram, thinking of ordering one and upgrading my baby bottle warmer and jam jar. How is it?
Haven't opened it yet. Again, we just have not had time. The shop has been busy. I've had really difficult jobs to do in the shop. We're doing a lot of filming at the moment for something that's happening next year, but we have not had chance. I'm waiting for a couple of things to come to be able to use some of those Durston items, like the tube twist or whatever it's called. I'm waiting for the brass tube to have a play around with that. I haven't even opened the parcels just yet, but I know it's like a kettle, where it has a base that you can lift the pot off, which is very handy because sometimes you've got to neutralize your pickle and take it off the bench and take it away to somewhere else, and I think it's very, very good for that, but I haven't had chance to play with it yet. So I shall certainly, it's bigger than these little baby bottle warmers, so it's going to be good for doing things like bangles, but I haven't had a chance to open it yet. And as soon as I do, yes, I'll be trying to get a review up on YouTube ASAP, so stay tuned. And don't forget, if you're an At the Bench member, you can get a discount off Durston products directly with Durston as well. You can check out that, and there's a code on At the Bench. Yes.
Good. Val says, could you use silver clay as a cast material to make a pronged ring setting?
I don't think you're going to be able to, because the problem with silver clay is it's silver and it has like an organic matter mixed with it as well. And I'm coming back to Yorkies again.
I knew you were going to start talking
Yorkies
about
and arrows.
My diet started today, Andrew Berry. You're very naughty.
Yorkies and arrows. So what happens is you've got for argument's sake, say you make a prong, a setting, okay, out of silver clay, art clay, whatever. And within the silver clay is all this organic matter. Yeah, everywhere. It's everywhere inside, okay? And when you heat it up, you sinter it, you heat it up, the organic matter burns off. And it leaves tiny, tiny little holes inside the silver. That is why when you try and solder with silver clay, the solder just goes, because it gets taken into all these little holes where your organic matter was, and you see it burn off. So it's not going to have the strength. It's like you've got a Yorkie bar and an aero bar. They look pretty much the same from the outside because the surface is lovely and smooth. But if you break an aero bar in half, you're going to find it's going to be full of holes. That is like your art clay. You break a Yorkie bar in half, it's solid. That is your standard traditional metal. Now, if you've got lots of holes within a piece of metal, it is not going to have the strength that a solid piece of metal that you may have bought from the bullion company, that you may have rolled out, that you may have drawn down, or even something that's cast already. It's not going to have the strength because it's full of holes. So personally, I would not try and rely on that for setting stones. The claws would have to be quite thick to give it enough strength, to give it enough substance to withstand bending and also the day-to-day action of hitting the claws, catching the claws and so forth, because they're going to be too brittle because of all these little air holes inside the metal. So it is possible, but it's not going to be the best job. Yes, Lou.
Good. M. Vaughan Green is saying, I have a benchmate in my cold workshop. Do I need to coat in a film of oil overnight to stop it from rusting?
I would always get a nice oily rag with a bit of like 3-in-1 oil just to gently rub over it. I don't think you're going to need an awful lot, but if you're worried, you can always put perhaps an oily rag over the top of it to prevent any sort of condensation, or as you say, just get an oily rag and just wipe down. Just wipe down your tools, the exposed surfaces, the benchmate, just wipe it down very lightly. You don't want a huge covering of oil. A light covering of oil is all you're going to require on it. So just to be on the safe side, yes, I would do that as a matter of course. Yes.
Good. Good. Tortuga Soap Co. Can you put 2 polymer clay colours together, bake them and they stick together? Or do you need to glue them together first?
No, they will put together. As long as you push them together, they should stay together.
I might say it might not be a good idea to put glue in the oven because it might give off some nasty fumes. I don't know.
Yeah, I would never glue them together. I would put them together and then perhaps squash them, because what you see a lot of people make like Battenberg sort of shapes, don't they, where they put them together and they squash them down and they squash them and they will stick together, providing the surfaces are clean and they're not oily and whatever. Providing you have nice fresh surfaces, they will stick together, and when it goes in the oven they should stick together, so you shouldn't need any glue. But if you've got your pieces separate and they've been in the oven and they have sort of been cooked or been baked, then you will have to glue them together if they're separate then. But before you cook them, before you put them in the oven, they should stick together. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wrong one. That's my overhead one.
Right then, Rebecca, going back to the sandcastering, for the internal circumference, is it better to make the ring a bit too small and sand it up to size?
Ah, right. I'm with you now. You will always have a little bit of shrinkage when you cast, because the metal will shrink. Your best thing to do is just to experiment with it. If you've got a ring that you can push into the sand casting, sometimes if you push it into the sand and then move it around a little bit just to give it a little bit of room, you're effectively making the internal circumference slightly smaller because you're wiggling it, and also you're making the external circumference slightly bigger, and that then will help the flow of metal run all the way around. So yeah, I would do that. I would never try and just push a ring in and bring it back out. I always push it in there and try and wiggle it back and forth just to give it a little bit more room, and it should just come out, and that then makes the internal circumference smaller, and then you can just sand it and file it to make it the right size. If you just pushed it in and brought it out and you cast it, you may find that you need to remove a little bit off the inside of the shank, perhaps due to some pitting, perhaps the metal hasn't flowed, or you may find some little bits of sand has become located loose in it, and then you find there are some marks. And then you're limited to the amount of metal you can take off because you need to keep it at a particular size. But by pushing it in, moving it around, you're making it smaller, you're making the outside bigger, and you should be good to go. I understand now. Well done, yes.
Good. How do you neutralise your pickle?
Usually baking soda is what people use. It does froth up. I would add a little bit at a time, not too much, just to neutralise it. Some people will get some cat litter and pour it into a tub of cat litter and then take it up to their refuse collection place and explain what it is and let them dispose of it.
I think I've seen this on a group, and somebody did that, and the people at the, what you call it, municipal, I call it the dump. The
dump, municipal.
But
municipal, civic centre, not civic centre. Yes, I know what you mean. Up the tip.
And they didn't know what they do. Well, they weren't terribly helpful. So what would you do then? I suppose that's their problem, isn't it? It's just, well,
yeah,
here's a bag of cat litter, told you what it is, and bye. That's you do the research. I don't know. Like, what do you do then if you're not confident they're going to dispose of it?
But then I know you're
responsibly.
I think a lot of people will put sodium bicarbonate in it. It does fizzle out. It does neutralise it. And once it's been neutralised, they say you can pour it down the sink. But you've got copper suspended in the solution. You don't want that entering the waste. So I personally would perhaps put it in, load it in a newspaper so it evaporates, so the water evaporates and you're left with all the substance. And then, yes, I would take it up to your municipal dump. Municipal tip.
I love a trip to the dump. We went there this morning, didn't we?
Yeah. And say, look, this is sodium metabisulfate. There's copper within it. Please, can you dispose of it? I think that's the only best way to do it. People say you can neutralise it and pour it in the sink, down the drain, but there's copper in it, and I really wouldn't do that.
I would probably go to your council if they didn't know what to do with it at the dump at the. I can't say the word
municipal.
Municipal. If they don't know what to do, approach the council and they
Yes.
will probably
You take
sort
paint
that
up
out.
there and they can dispose of paint. They take car batteries and they can dispose of the acid from car batteries, can't they? So they
Yeah.
can dispose of it in the way that they are supposed to dispose of it.
Good. Okay.
Yes, Louise.
Yeah, it's a question that comes up a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. David says, I've never used silver clay. If you polish it with one of the nylon brushes, will you end up with a holy surface that can't be final polish?
No, these holes are sort of microscopic, so they're not really visible to the naked eye. They are tiny, tiny. It's not like massive holes like this. To get a proper nice surface on metal clay, you should burnish the surface. So it's like porosity when you have things cast. Sometimes there's microscopic holes and it doesn't polish well. But if you get a nice smooth burnisher and you just burnish the surface lovely, lovely and smooth, you're basically forcing the metal down, squashing it, covering up all those holes and burnishing the surface. Then you should be able to polish it successfully. And if I was... I'll come to you in a minute. And if I was soldering anything onto metal clay, again, I would burnish the surface so you're compacting it, you're squashing out all those little holes, and then you're not going to find that your solder's going to go into all those holes and disappear because you've compacted the surface. Yes, Louise?
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, is that going to absorb your solder? But if you burnish the surface first...
Yes.
Because I know it's a problem, isn't it, soldering on metal clay?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that will squash it all down, you're squishing it all down. Your solder then will not be sucked in because there's nothing to be sucked in because you've squashed all those holes up by burnishing.
Good.
Yes, nice
Cool.
question.
Okay.
Good.
Rebecca says, what do you recommend for safety pickle?
Sodium metabisulfate. Is it metabisulfate or is it just simply sodium bisulfate? Safety pickle.
Yeah.
Vitex. We use Vitex, Vitex. We sell it in the store.
Because there was a question raised recently about the fumes.
Yes, there
and
was.
about keeping a lid on your pickle and about not quenching anything too hot because the fumes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a concern, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, in the films I have been doing today, I have been saying quench in water, put it in your acid afterwards.
Yeah.
I have been saying that because I've always keep the top on. This again is a baby bottle one more here. I always keep the top on. I always keep the top on it no matter what, so the water does not evaporate. So if I was putting something in here, I'd take the lid off, I would quench it, take it out, I'd put the lid back on. So that's something that I've always done. What you don't want to do is put anything in your safety pickle so hot it causes it to splutter and splash because it would go all over your hand, and also there are fumes then going into the air that could be detrimental to your well-being. So be very careful, and if in doubt, put it in the water first and then put it into the pickle. It does slow things down for me. I've been doing this for 38 years, and I haven't had a problem. That doesn't mean to say that others won't have a problem. So yes, if you are unsure, into your water to quench it, then put it into your safety pickle afterwards. But I'd always keep the lid on to keep the evaporation down and stop anything going into the air. We did
always
have
err on the side of caution.
We did, yes.
Yeah,
we did. But thank you
definitely.
for that. Yes.
Good. Francesco, can I make a Kembu-like accent with just hammering down till it's really tiny, a small piece of gold, and then solder it?
You can do it. I can't remember what number micron it has to be. Sometimes people will get the Kembu or the gold and fold it in half and pass it through a roller mill, then fold it in half, pass it through a roller mill, fold it in half. So you have multiple layers, and you keep going through the roller mill, and then you can sort of peel those layers apart, and it's going to be thin. Whether you're going to have the metal thin enough by hammering it, because the problem is when you watch the Kembu workshop, it is so thin that I don't even think you're going to be able to hammer it that thin, if I'm honest, because it has to be microns thick, not tenths of a millimetre or fifths of a millimetre thick. So personally, I wouldn't try and hammer it thin. If you've got a rolling mill, I would use a rolling mill to take it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, folding it in half to get the layers thin. But you can still buy the gold foil. So it's not gold leaf, that's even thinner again, but it's gold foil. And perhaps you can go halves with somebody and they'll have half a panel each. But I don't think you're going to get it thin enough, I'm afraid. No.
Okay. Trevor is saying, can you recommend anywhere in the UK where you can find good examples of handmade jewellery, Estrabonic accepted, mostly for inspiration, although my partner can't resist buying too. Ooh.
So yeah, I think a good source of inspiration are galleries, whether it be jewellery galleries or craft galleries or art galleries. Because we went down into the Craft in the Bay, down Cardiff, and there was some jewellery in there that we looked at. Some of it was good, some of it was absolute rubbish.
Andrew?
Sorry. Well, I didn't think it was, considering, but that's not for me to say. Sorry. Take that out. Take that out.
Too late. The word is a sped arrow. What am I always telling you?
Exactly. Yeah, so you look at things and you go, oh my God, that is amazing. And you think, oh, that really isn't that good, or I could do better than that. So yeah, you can get your inspiration from galleries that way, and I think that is the best place to go. I wouldn't necessarily go into any shop windows, the multiples and that sort of thing. You may find there's some independents that do produce their own jewellery. We're always looking in jewellers' windows, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just having a look. Some pieces we love, some pieces we don't like, but that's personal preference. But yeah, art galleries, craft galleries, I think are the best places to go in to get inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah?
probably.
What would you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably think of loads now when we finish. Who asked? Trevor. I'll have a think. I tend to see things, even sometimes I see mass-produced things, and I think, I wish it was like this. I wish it had, I don't know, more stones or less stones, or like a star. I wish it was more of a, I don't know, Victorian star or a Windrose kind of star, or so you think of a design and adapt. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're saying, isn't it?
Something will inspire you and you go, yeah, I actually quite like that idea, but it would look better in my mind with this or with that. And you can sort of build up from there. It's a good source of ideas. And also even just browsing places like Etsy, for instance, isn't it? Just to gain some ideas and then progressing from there and building up to make it your own.
Yeah. I'll have a think, Trevor.
Yes. Good one. Good question.
Pinterest is always good.
Oh, we love a bit of Pinterest, don't we?
Do you know what I love looking at is like jewellery history as well. We've got quite a lot of jewellery history books, haven't we? And like I love the likes of who's the one of it with Chanel?
Don't know.
Oh, he did the amazing like tiger paw shells, and he did the cuffs.
Yes,
his name escapes me now, but I love Simon Shep's jewellery like that. Yeah. So look to history. That's what I would say, and take inspiration from there, because that's where you're going to find really classic ideas, which you can put a modern twist on.
Absolutely. Helena's just asking, isn't the lid steel? It's got a coating on the inside, you see. Let's look at there's overhead. There we go. It's got like a coating, so none of that on the inside here is steel. Okay, perhaps the edge by here may be steel, but all the inside is coated. So no, so when that goes back on here, there is no pickle touching any steel at all. And it's like that.
Padura. Come back to me. Sorry.
Sorry. So was that?
Padura.
Padura.
Verdura.
Oh, Verdura.
Verdura.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked with Coco Chanel.
Very good.
Yeah, he did the Maltese cuffs. She wore one on each. One on each wrist. Yeah.
That's nice.
In like a really famous photograph of her.
Yes. Good.
Sorry, I really butted in
No,
there.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I've seen someone recommend using bicarbonate of soda, white vinegar and distilled water. It's gone now. Okay.
Good, okay.
Someone uses their Lakeland yogurt maker for their pickle pot. It's bigger than a baby bottle warmer and has a sieve included.
Fab.
Nice idea. Just make sure you don't use it for your yogurt afterwards. Nasty taste.
Good.
Any suggestions to make a brass pickle? You should be able to use a safety pickle, sodium bisulfate, and that should pickle your brass as well.
Okay, good. Sarah's saying, I had seen someone recommend using bicarbonate of soda, white vinegar and distilled water as a pickle. Is that something you've tried? Bless you.
People have used salt with vinegar. Oh, wrong one. Someone has tried using salt with vinegar with water, and yes, it does work. And also, I don't know why I'm going to start sneezing again. And also citric acid, that always does work. It does not work as quick or as fast as the commercially available safety pickle, but if it's a safer option if you are a bit concerned about having sort of chemicals lying around the place. But yeah, a cupful of vinegar, a couple of teaspoons of salt and some distilled water works as an alternative to pickle. Yes, I wouldn't use bicarbonate in it because I think that would neutralize it, but definitely salt, vinegar and a bit of water. Yes. Yes, Luke.
Anthony says off the top of my head 0.2 mil. Oh, what's that for?
If it's the goal full, it's got to be thinner than
Actually,
that.
that's rubbish on reflection. I don't know, it sounds right to me. Anyway, oh, thank you, Beth. Cool, very welcome, Francesco. Penny, hiya Penny, I have a customer who wants a yellow gold wedding ring plated in platinum rather than rhodium. I found a company that will do it. Do you recommend plating it in silver first?
If you're going to send it off to a company that's going to plate it in platinum, let them do everything to it. You just give them the ring and say, I would like this platinum coated, please, or platinum plated. You should have some sort of guarantee on thickness. You should be able to ask for that, or they should tell you what thickness of that plating should be. But I wouldn't do anything to the ring. If as soon as you start to say, perhaps try and coat it with silver and then give that away, if something goes wrong, they could say, well, it was the silver that you plated it with that was the problem. So have the yellow gold ring, give them the ring and tell them to do it. Then the consequences are theirs if anything goes wrong. Simple as that. Yeah.
Good.
Excellent. Yes, good.
Gordo says, any suggestions to make a brass pickle?
I would just use a normal safety pickle, and that should be good with brass as well. Yes.
David, genius. Handmade jewellery at the gallery and at the bench.
Yes, there's places on there.
Of course, yeah.
Lots of places,
Thank
yes.
you. Susan says Native American jewellery is a class on its own. Yeah, fabulous. Rebecca says Instagram.
Yep.
Norm says, can you solder gold filled?
Yes, you can, but you've got to be really careful when it comes to filing and polishing that you don't take too much off. So all your joints have got to be perfect, spot on. You don't want to be doing too much finishing after you've soldered it, because all the time you're filing, you're buffing and you're polishing, you're removing that layer of gold every single stroke. So making sure that all the joints come together perfect, not stepped like this, because you have to file this bit off and file that bit off, and then you're going to be filing the gold. So make sure that all the joints come together level, perfect, no gaps, and you have the most minimal amount of cleaning up, and that's the best way to do your gold filled. Yosh.
Oh, 2.5 microns. No, well, yeah, but I know what you meant, Anthony. It's fine. Yeah, 2.5 microns for the gold foil.
Yes,
yeah,
I think it
cool.
is.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I knew it was 2 something, so yeah, we were on the same page. That's fine. Cool. I think that's it then.
Good. Vinegar pickle really stinks. Citric acid, Dolores uses. Yes, citric acid is always good, and that's completely safe. Yes.
Good.
Good.
I've got some work to do before tomorrow. Picking up this mannequin, aren't I?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I've got to Pontypridd.
Oh, that's okay. I'll let you carry on with that. Yeah.
What?
Go to Pontypridd.
Okay. No, I've got to plan some other things around it though, haven't I? We're planning our Christmas shop window.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I say we're planning it.
My father's planned it.
Yeah, Andrew's dad is basically, I tasked him when he was in hospital, because he's partially sighted, his hearing's terrible as well, isn't it? He's virtually non-existent. You have to talk very loudly to him, so he couldn't really speak to anybody because they just spoke too quietly. He couldn't really see anything, and he was just, when he's at home, he's got things he can do, he's got his telly, he's got his Alexa. So yeah, Anthony, mannequin. Okay, I am coming to it, I promise. Yeah, so I tasked him with designing the Christmas shop window. I tasked him with designing the shop window. So he had a little think, and I brought him this. There's like an MP3 player, which is just stop-start, so he could listen to his music. And he had this idea that it's going to be inspired by the ABBA song, I Believe in Angels, because that's one of his favourite songs. I believe in angels, good in everything I see. So that's one of his favourite songs, and it's all inspired by that. So we're going to have an angel in the window. Oh, are we still, I think...
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I've sorted that out.
We're going to have an angel in the window, hence the mannequin, but it's got to be... It can't be a creepy mannequin, can it?
No.
Or... So I think, well, yes, it might be a bit difficult. So anyway, I've got to go to Pontypridd to look at this mannequin.
And it's going to be
It's more like a dressmaker's doll. It's not like a...
Yeah, it's just a body of a mannequin with no head. You're going to dress
Now it sounds creepy.
You're going to dress it in a white...
White dress, angel wings.
White dress with wings of feathers.
And feathers everywhere, like hundreds
Halo.
of feathers. Andrew said a halo of tinsel, and I've said absolutely not. Yeah, so it could be really good.
It's going to be white. There's going to be little stars hanging down from the ceiling.
So yeah, that's what I'm
You're
doing
gonna
later.
put-
I'm going to make the beat. I'm going to do the...
I believe in angels.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So
have.
have you got
I have
any
a- I
ideas?
have a dream.
I
it's
have a
called, isn't
dream.
it?
That's the theme.
Yes. My father wanted a river running.
He
through
got a
the
bit
middle.
silly, didn't he? And then we'll have a river and we'll have a boat and we'll have. And I was like, yeah.
No, we're not going
Yeah,
as far as that.
it's getting a bit silly now. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Anthony. Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
I
so
can't
that's
sing.
what we're planning on doing. Got to do that now over the next month. Just putting everything together to sort that out. aren't we?
Yeah, it's just
We'd like
yeah.
to try and put effort into our windows, don't we? Or every year. They are good.
What was your
Christmas
favourite
windows.
window?
They've all been really good.
My favourite
Go on then.
was when it was 2020 and everybody was just at home, nobody could go out, and it was that awful time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
It was just Christmas at home, wasn't it?
Yes.
Getting emotional now.
Yeah.
That's my age. I'm so hot now as well.
So-
and we had the Christmas
you got-
tree, and we had train set.
Yeah, we had.
And it was kind of like somebody opened all their presents, and there was a chair.
We made a fireplace.
Yeah, and we had a computer screen, and we built this fireplace. We bought red brick wallpaper, and we had a piece of wood, and we had photos, and we had a monitor in the fireplace, and with a crackling fire. I loved it. I thought it was so
and
cosy.
We had the train set going around and around. And we had on the one side there, you can buy Christmas trees, only half a Christmas tree that you can fit against a wall. So we had that there as well, and it looked really good.
I was lush.
My mum would just passed on the mantelpiece. And everything
That's
there.
why I was getting a bit.
But yeah, it was really good. So I did like that one. And I love anything with motion, with movement in the window. I
It
think
catches
that really,
people's eye, doesn't it? That's
does.
the thing.
So yeah, we loved that, didn't
what
we?
did Mr. Berry do for a living? He was in the army. He was in the Second World War, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was in the motorboat command. Oh, like you say, because
No,
you
he
know
was
more
in the
about
motor,
it.
yeah, the motorboat command unit. They wanted him to go on motorcycles to be like a dispatch rider, but he thought they shoot the messenger. Literally, they shoot the messenger. So he decided he didn't want to do that. So he kept falling off his motorbike. So they didn't pick him, basically, which I thought was very clever. He couldn't
He
fire.
could ride a motorbike. That's the funny
he
thing.
could ride, yes.
He's thrown himself.
He
off it.
when he went to fight, he can't close his left eye very well. He can't close it for some reason or other. You can't even see now, but he had trouble. He has trouble trying to close his left eye to shoot a rifle. So he was rubbish at shooting rifles and shooting guns. You have to tell the German, "Hang on a minute, I'm going to put a patch over my left eye." Okay, bang. Oh, you're dead. So no, he was no good at that. But his father, my grandfather, who died before I was born, had a small little boat, like motor boat, that sort of thing, and. Oh, Steve, I'm too busy, Steve. He could ride a boat, drive a boat, steer a boat, that sort of thing. And he was very boat orientated. So there was an advert on the notice board, the motorboat command, whatever it was. And Steve, stop ringing me. It's the web guy. So yeah, so he then got into the motorboats and was up and down the Rhine patrolling the rivers. And that's what he did. And he was on the motorboat. He loved the motorboats, but he hasn't been on the boat since the war. But that's what he did. And then that was the war. He came out of the war, went back to what he was doing before the war. He was basically a warehouseman in like a food store place. Danish Baking Company it was at the time. And they supplied all the small little local independent shops of all groceries, toilet rolls, muesli, chopped tomatoes, goodness knows what. And that's what he did. Until the day he retired when he was 75. Yeah.
Claire says, such an amazing character. Your dad needs to write about. Do you know what? I started recording and telling his stories, didn't I? And we've got loads.
Yeah.
Of just, honestly, the things he could tell you, because he, like you say, policed the Rhine after the war, and the photographs are absolutely incredible, aren't they? Really
Indeed,
important.
Yeah. But he's really good, really good.
Yes, he is.
Right,
He's
let's
fabulous.
go. Everyone. So we're going to go. Again,
What about the new website? By the way, yes.
That was the web guy. So we're having problems making sure that the recurring subscriptions go through. Otherwise, the recurring subscriptions aren't going to go through. We're having problems with that. So that's what Steve was just ringing me about that. I've been trying to sort that out all day today. So it's still ongoing. The website's all done. It's just making sure that everyone's payments go through to the right payment plan and recurring payments get added as well to that. It is a load of potch that Steve is trying to sort out. So yes, it's still ongoing and we're just finalising this. We had this sussed about 3 months ago, then something went amiss. So this is what we've been trying to sort out today. Yes. Everyone, Louise, anything else?
My granddad, a Grimsby fisherman, was on the mine clearance in Pear Fishers. Wow. Susan, do a living memory with him. What's that?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Oh, you just talk and talk and talk, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, there's not many people really left who served in the war, in the Second World War, are there? That's the mad thing. That's why I've started recording him and... Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Give him regards from Libya, North Africa. Oh, thank you. Wow. I will, yes, you'll love that. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Oh, that's the right one. Yeah, so we're going to go now.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you all very much. Again, we will keep you informed with this website. And we're also going to be doing those couple of reviews on those Durston products that came through as well. Louise has been putting together, are you going to put a reel together?
Of?
A dual tool. I did film you.
Did you?
Yeah. There's all films on your phone.
Did you?
I did.
Oh.
Good. Yes. If he recorded every tale he had to tell, oh my gosh. Anyway, it's good. We will leave you.
We have got loads, David.
We will leave you to it. We will see you next Monday. We have a workshop in 2 weeks' time, all about photographics of accessories and light boxes, tent boxes, and that sort of thing. So we're going to get all that together. I was supposed to get that done today, but I didn't get a chance. But we'll be doing that over the next few days. That'll be week Monday. So we will see you
2 weeks today.
2 weeks today. So we'll see you next Monday for the next Q&A. Keep an eye out on social media. Louise is going to put a reel together showing you about a dual tool. You'll be impressed with that. But in the meantime, Louise, say goodbye.
Choked on my own breath then.
Good, excellent. Thank you all very much indeed. Don't forget, give this a thumbs up. We had like over 100 people watching at one stage, but only 44 likes. So give this a thumbs up if you're watching it. Follow us on socials, and we'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.